Hello, dear ones. So I recorded like 28 minutes of an audio that I was going to post, but then I realized that the sound was really, really, really bad, and so I decided to connect my whole equipment and do it properly. So here I am. And basically, I was talking a little bit about the eclipse next week, but I also started with something that I just posted online. And it's like a cardinal cross where you have the principles at the bottom. It's like a target. Then above that you have the word integrity. On the left you have morals, and on the right you have ethos. So I wrote, integrity is the measure by which a person of principles evaluates themselves, with morals and ethos shaping the guiding framework for behavior. This cardinal axis corresponds to the subjective/objective parameters that define human action. So I define principles as the foundation that serve as a bedrock of our moral compasses. And so they're a guiding light. Integrity is the internal consistency between our actions and our principles. So if you have principles, then it's up to you to see how far your integrity is going to go up. It is a very subjective sense of awareness. It reflects the commitment to uphold our values even when it is difficult or inconvenient. So your integrity is always like a measure of like how far you're really willing to bend or to go or stand right against something that it doesn't make sense to you. The ethos represents the character and guiding beliefs of an individual or community. It encompasses the cultural and social influences that shape how we justify and perceive our actions. So a lot of the ethos or the ethics that are around, sometimes they're cultural things that we receive from family, institutions, and society, and we sometimes don't understand why we're following that sense of ethics. That's why, again, integrity is a good point when it's aligned with the principles. Last but not least, morality defines our understanding of right and wrong. So here we go, very subjective. We're going to judgment, and then because this right or wrong is going to shape our personal experiences in the way we behave in society. So it is about, setting up ethical guidelines that steer our behavior in harmony with a larger way of how these values can be integrated in society. So we are called right now, especially with the eclipses that are coming, to really make a last round to the way we relate to our needs and the needs of others, but not in general, but more like with another person, another thing, or another situation. The eclipse is going to happen next Wednesday, the 2nd of October. So I'm looking at a chart right now, and we have the South Node conjunct the new moon, and we also have Black Moon Lilith and Mercury and Juno in the sign of Libra. This is squared by Mars in Cancer and Ceres or Demeter in Capricorn. So here we have the possibility to face one last time for this cycle. Everything that we're projecting, that we're expecting, and we are not coming to terms to accept that this is not what it's going to be. So the more we are not looking at things as they are, the more we're projecting that lack or that anxiety, or we're not really seeing it. So it is imperative right now that you create a marriage or an ideal situation between your ideas and how you speak to yourself, in the sense that you're actually listening to yourself in Libra. Libra is about listening to the other, and you can be your own other. You don't have to be in front of a person. I mean, it is easier to resolve all kinds of problems when we are in relationships, but sometimes you can actually create that relationship to yourself in a way that you were creating a relationship with another, right? So the Black Moon Lilith is the shadow. So there are probably a lot of shadows that are coming out right now that you can see about yourself. But if you are very much focused on trying to blame the other or society or whatever candidate, you're really missing the big opportunity what we have right now in place, which is actually to integrate that shadow and see what you're going to do with it. So I have an anecdote. So I always have an anecdote. I always make these things happen in a materialized way. So last week I spoke about having pain in my body. So I ended up like finding out it was a kidney stone. I don't do doctors, I don't do health insurance, so I ended up like calling a good friend, Bitcoiner slash carnivore. So I knew that talking to him will be useful, because he was not gonna try to like give me a pharmaceutical for something that I actually don't need, because I do all like natural alternative medicine. But I just wanted a confirmation, because I'm going to tell you something, guys. Having a kidney stone is like almost like giving birth. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know some of you are already given multiple times birth and I have not, so how dare I compare. But believe me, the pain is awful. I realize that I have a lot of tolerance to pain, but that doesn't mean that I have to go through it. So I took care of it. And so it's a kidney stone. And then if you understand what kidney stones are, there are actually crystallization of minerals inside of the body that they're trying to leave the kidney, and then work through all the water systems of the body, right? And so I knew that it was hurting. It was because it was crystallized. So when you think about crystallization in a wider, broader sense, we're talking about probably emotions, memories, or things that I need to let go, because right now this is the last pass, of the Libra. How do I relate to certain things? So I might have been carrying some things that I need to dissolve, as in the stone, and let go, because they're no longer needed. I don't need to project something in them to validate myself. I actually can say, hey, this was good, it served me well, so now I have to let go. So I do very deep meditations, and one that I did at the beginning of the week, a little bit after I had the conversation with the doctor, I asked my grandmother, my ancestor, if she can tell me a little bit of wisdom regarding what was going on, but let me know what the kidney stone wants me to know. This is a Libra relationship. I'm talking to the stone through my grandmother. Yeah, maybe I'm crazy, who cares? But I'm getting messages. And again, maybe I'm crazy, who cares? They actually work for me. So my grandmother appeared, and she said there was a cascade full of water. And kidneys, they're really related to water and also to fear. So I thought, but what am I afraid of? Because I think that I'm not a fearful person. But she said, just go deeper, because sometimes these fears are kind of hiding in a little cave, and maybe it's a fear of moving forward to really more unknown territories, which could be at this point, now that I think about it. So there was this cascade of water. So she says, I gotta like flash the water down. And then she says, but you also have to shake and move, which is something that relates to polyvagal therapy, where you like, if you're stagnated in sort of like emotional like collapse, because you don't know what to do, you just shake your body, you shift, and then you shift it. You just shake it out, and then you shift. You make a little bit of a different stance, so you can see things in a slightly different perspective. So that was good. Then she said something which I think was the most important thing. She said, okay, now you need to preserve only what is needed on words. And everything else that has served you well, you have to say thank you and say goodbye. And I went like, wow, I know exactly what this is all about. And then at the very end, she said, move, 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 and which I understand, I have to take steps towards that. So here we go. Some people know, very, very few people know that I had some storage unit right now where I have a lot of stuff that I brought, not a lot, but the stuff that I brought from New York that is not in my apartment, that really includes only like art processes, and artwork that I had around my house hanging and I couldn't bring here. So I wanted to keep all these processes, includes negatives and tapes and stuff, because maybe back in the day I thought maybe one day I'm going to have a retrospective. Laughing at that thought, and somebody's going to say, a curator is going to go, oh, maybe we need this part of your life, and I'll say, yes, it's good I kept that in the storage. But guys, paying for years of storage at the prices that they are, I could buy so much Bitcoin with that, and I wouldn't be like holding right now, like, what am I going to do with this thing? So I even thought, because I give it a thought, thought about bringing home and start selling it. I don't have time for that. I'm looking to the future, and I actually have to just say thank you and just let it go. So I know that the stone was actually bringing a lot of this crystallization of things that I've done in the past that they used to define me, but I'm no longer defined by that, because I know that the best thing that I'm going to bring forward is myself. Everything I need is in my body, to be honest, and the wisdom that I have able to accomplish thus far, which is probably not too much, but it is enough for me. It's enough for me to kind of live a life that is more free from things and ideas and guilt. So I say guilt because this morning in the meditation, I asked, okay, tell me the real meaning of that upcoming eclipse in my chart. And I noticed that sometimes I still like, I have created a platform with my artwork, but also with the readings that I do, astrological readings, and the study groups where I actually serve other people as a mirror. And that's what I aim to do. I am not a guru. I don't want people to follow me. I'm just like serving as a mirror, and that's what I want. That's a very much Libra kind of function. But sometimes I feel like I might be disappointing people, or I can feel the disappointment in people, not because I'm not doing good readings, or I'm not doing good teachings, or whatever, or I'm not creating good artwork. But sometimes people invest much more in the relationship with what I have to offer, but it has more to do with them than what they're getting. So I just came up with this idea that, the more I go out there and open myself up, I've been recording more podcasts right now, so more people that didn't know me are going to know me now. I just realized that I can't operate from guilt anymore. This is one of the things that I have to confront, because guilt in a way is not allowing me to see my own shadow. With guilt, I'm actually, being moved to do some things for people that are not supposed to be done. They're supposed to be accountable. They're supposed to be based. They're supposed to be independent. They're supposed to meet me, and I'm supposed to meet them where they're at, not do extra. Because that's not what I'm offering. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a doctor. I'm just somebody who, makes readings to whoever is ready. And whoever wants to have the responsibility, I can meet them halfway. But that's the requirement. So what I was seeing in the shadow of what's coming right now is that at times when I operate from guilt, I'm not actually operating on my full design, because I must operate from the fact that I am just trusting my life and making sure that my needs are met. That's it. So saying all that, I'm going to say that this eclipse that is coming is actually very beautiful. We have a square between the nodes and all those planets that I said that are in Libra, with the Mars that is in Cancer, that wants to initiate like a healthier way of relating to the emotional body. So all those things that are crystallized, it wants to open them. But Ceres, the mother that's crying for her daughter being snatched by Hades, it's giving us the opportunity to say, okay, what is it about nurturing others, or the things that we emanate from ourselves that needs to have a structure, and what are the things they need to be open-hearted. So it's up to each one of you to know where is it that your heart must be open, and what parts of those openness needs to have a structure to be able to be continuing and be solid. Because this is the last one from the Libra Aries axis, the eclipse, and so by now, and when the nodes leave in January to the next axis, we're supposed to be embodying our courage and being able to speak up and confront whatever is coming. We can't wait for a person to be elected or a party to tell us what to do. If we don't know who we are, what we want, and how to deal with that with leverage, I think we're in a very bad and risky situation. I don't include myself. I'm just speaking in plural, but I don't include myself. This is what I've been working on. So I'm saying that. Another thing is, if you want to look a little bit about how is this kind of different from 9-10 years ago, look back into your life, what was happening between October 8th around 2013 and March 2015, these eclipses that they were during that time, they're very similar to this ones, but they were at the opposition. So the energy was completely different. Here is about becoming courageous to be oneself. Over there it was like trying to have a new relationship with the others and just putting the self a little bit behind. In the other recording, I went through the whole of it. I'm not going to do it now. And also it's going to be halfway of the time, which is much better. I don't want to get this very elongated. So last thing that I want to say is this. It is important to take time, to take a breath every day, all the time, especially when we're nervous, when we're frightened, when we're exalted, even when you're too happy. It's always good to know that the emotions are like waves. I am very fortunate right now in my life because I have put so much time and intention to what I need, and so I'm starting to see a lot of the fruits. And if I look at my chart and all the processes that I've been through and the trances that I have, it was all written, it was all there. So this is again an invitation for whoever feels the need to connect with me at the level of me becoming a person who's going to be able to read your chart, give you support of something that is beyond just the natural but more deeper into the psychological. I can go very deep because I have a moon in Scorpio. I can go all the way deep. I have a Pluto in my 8th house, so I can see the darkness and I'm not afraid of it. And I will promise to bring back a lot of light and support you in whatever it is that you need to hear at the moment that you connect to me, with no expectations. Again, like I'm here to serve you and meet you where you're at. And if you want something else, we can't ask the other to fulfill our lives. This is something that is very individual. That's what integrity is all about. Okay, my friends, let you be. Enjoy the weekend. I know that we had a terrible hurricane here in the state of Florida. Didn't happen to me, but I know some folks upstate and also in the southern states. They've been dealing with a very crazy weather. Things are going to start getting even more crazy, but we know that we have what it takes. All right, take care.